Well, the international game, the international window was officially open. Yes, we've played another couple of test matches, but they were out of that. So the international teams, in theory, on the weekend were to be at full strength. I know, for one, the Wallabies weren't. We'll get to that a little bit later. But, JK, the results on the weekend. You look around what happened in the Northern Hemisphere, some big results, some impressive performances. What was the biggest surprise for you?
The result of Japan. I didn't expect it to be that big, Mils. And I'm concerned because I don't know a lot about the Irish side, whether they've actually been rebuilding. You know, I think it was the end of an era when Joe went to the last World Cup. They got beaten by Japan, but it paid back. And then the Aussies, I didn't think they'd lose either. So those two. For you, Mils?
Yeah, I think the Aussies, I thought they were building nicely. I know they're missing a couple of key players.
Key Quade Cooper and Samu Kerevi.
Yeah, but this isn't this. We spoke about how they're building some really good depth in other departments. They can't just rely on sort of Quade coming back. He wasn't even in the fold before the championship, so you've got to remember that. Who are they actually, you know, bringing forward? So I was pretty surprised about them going down to Scotland. It must be something at Murrayfield or whatever, because they keep losing to them there. But I was definitely surprised by that result.
Oh, I think Scotland, though, are making progress, getting more consistent, JK, more competitive, well and truly in the Six Nations, showing signs. I like the way they play the game. I think this is a massive step forward for them, and it is impactful for Australia because they started getting great momentum at the back end of the Rugby Championship. They're like that team at the moment that can't seem to get into a rhythm of the fact of winning games, particularly away from home. They seem to struggle.
Yeah, and look, I think that what Australia was missing was a first five that took control, Mils. And once Quade came in and settled everyone down...
So how do you feel... I'm going to ask you that, interrupt you quickly then. How do you feel about the fact then that they didn't manage to bring him from Japan? Him and Samu Kerevi have gone to their club. This is an international window. You've coached in Japan. You've been in similar situations. How do you feel about the fact they weren't available or they weren't able to negotiate an opportunity for these guys to go and play on this tour?
Well, unless we start coming up with what the Irish do and give our players a tax break to stay in the countries, Quade Cooper's got to go and earn money. He wasn't involved. He came in late.
Pre-season for them, though.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's who's paying you the most money. We're actually giving our players what I call financial sabbaticals, and that's okay. Beauden Barrett, Sam Whitelock, you know, Brodie Retallick. So we are already doing that, but we're protecting the All Blacks, right? But Super Rugby suffers. So Quade's got to go. My big boss has come to me and I'm earning $1 million and he says, I want you at pre-season, then he's got to do pre-season.
South Africa had their guys, though. They had their players. They take on Wales and they were back to strength, Mils. And South Africa did this. Malcolm Marx, late in the game, we know this is an all familiar picture for us, but South Africa, they are the team. We talk about Australia. They are the team that managed to go to the Northern Hemisphere and find ways to win.
Yeah, they do, and they find it through their big forwards. It's sort of similar sort of types of styles, isn't it? They go out there, bring their big boys into the game. Close game, but they certainly knew how to win. I mean, we sit here and we talk about the All Blacks, you know, not playing very well, but winning by 47 points to 9. But we've blooded some new blood. These other teams don't have that opportunity, and that's the luxury that New Zealand and the All Blacks, you know, have these days.
Well, blooding new people, maybe blooding new pitch invaders is what we need to do, because I can't get over the fact that once again we experienced, this is a player that probably stopped, or sorry, a fan that stopped Wales possibly scoring a try. Security has to come on the field. We've seen in the last 2 weekends, someone's mate Jarvo, this weekend, he was on the field for Japan and he was on the field the previous week for the All Blacks. JK, is this acceptable?
Well, I think we should let them invade MMA next time and see what happens then.
Open the door of the cage.
Open the cage, push them in. Go, son. See how you go. The saddest thing for me is idiots like that, if I can be a bit rude, are taking it away from the 7- and 8-year-olds that we could let onto the pitch afterwards so that they can, you know, touch their heroes and stuff like that. The security needs to get better because, you know, I laughed at Java. I thought it was funny the first week. I didn't think it was funny this week. And that clown that ran on, and I felt sorry for the security lady that was running behind her who could have been cleaned up. I mean, someone's going to get injured. And so, yeah, the security just needs to get better.
Who's responsible then, Mils?
I think the home nation is responsible. I think, you know, idiots like that come onto the field. But what's most frustrating is the way they've done it. We've done with ease. They've basically just walked on there, and the security guards sort of haven't even noticed. The way they've jumped over the hoardings. I mean, this idiot here. I mean, he's actually possibly could have cost his own team a try. And I know he got dished for it from the crowd, but. At what stage? Surely from the week before, the Welsh Union should have known, well, security's got to be really high this week.
We can't assume that everyone's a friendly. We can't assume that everyone that's going onto the pitch is just there to have a bit of a fun and a laugh. And where does World Rugby then come into this, JK, in terms of sanctioning the host nation? Because it has happened in previous occasions. Whose responsibility is it? If this is football, what would FIFA do? This guy made a tackle. For crying out loud. It was high too. It was over the shoulder. It was a seatbelt tackle. He did wear a boot there.
I would not want him tackling me naked.
No, this is absurd.
That'd be horrible. That is absurd. But look, I think what we need to be able to do is ban them forever. They should never be allowed to go to another rugby game, because you do not want to be, and you've played Mils in Italy, where you've got 10-foot fences so the crowd can't get on. That's really sad. We don't want to see that happen.
How in the world, after 7 days later at Aviva Stadium, it's just happened in Cardiff, can the same individual, I mean, if this was any other sport in the world, Mils, his picture would be plastered everywhere going, there's only one guy that's not getting on the pitch today, and it's this guy. He must be getting help.
Yeah, well, you think he is, obviously. He's just getting in there with ease. I mean, and what sort of, I suppose, what's happened? I mean, what's been his... What are they doing? How does he actually get in there? And what are the consequences for what he's done from the week before? Obviously none. So it'd be sad if we were talking like this had a player been injured or someone had been tackled, similar to what happened in South Africa when the referee got sort of taken out. I mean, we don't want to be talking about incidents. Yes, it's funny, but I think it's come to a stage now where it's becoming ridiculous.
Oh, I'm disappointed there hasn't been anything come out of World Rugby in terms of saying that this is, one, unacceptable, and sanctions against the nations that can't protect the players, the referees, and those people who are involved in the contest. The Health Span Elite Performer of the Week for the All Blacks. Let's change it to a positive out of the weekend. You selected 3. Here are your choices. The Health Span Elite Performer of the Week: Richie Mo'unga, Dane Coles, Finlay Christie. I found this a surprise, JK. Richie Mo'unga has 47.6% of the vote. Are we being overcritical? Did we judge his performance maybe on the overall performance of the All Blacks?
Or did we just take votes from Canterbury? Is that a possibility?
That is possible.
No one else voted.
That is possible.
You know, for me, Dane Coles was outstanding, and he was outstanding because in moments under pressure, he changed the game. So he was always going to get the most points. So I was a little bit shocked.